racing, the idea is that the slower cars stay to the inside and the faster cars make the passes on the outside. That is always very dangerous, of course, for the faster cars. In the drivers' meeting this morning, it was decided by the drivers to try it the other way around here. In other words, for the slower cars to stay wide and let the faster cars dive down on the inside, which is the way it's done in road racing. Whether the thing is going to be tough to execute as the race goes on because it's against your instincts or not, I don't know. What do you think, Bobby?
Well, I think the important thing for people to realize here, Stan, that in making that rule, let's say it's a 170-mile-an-hour racetrack and it's only 1 mile around, and people have to keep realizing that as they watch our race today. Just extremely fast place.
Yeah, and another thing, too, all the drivers have been telling me that the line on which you run is incredibly narrow. You don't really have a lot of choice where to run through these turns if you want to run fast.
Well, the leaders have moved out and begun to run static. We look at first and second. Rick Mears followed by Danny Sullivan. Then in the lineup, Mario Andretti, Emerson Fittipaldi, Al Unser Jr. is running fifth, followed by Michael Andretti. Then Bobby Rahal, who dropped back just a bit. Eighth is currently Derek Daly. Ninth is Raul Boisel, and Scotty Brayton is currently running in 10th, followed by Teo Fabi in the Porsche. But now Mario Andretti closes in as again they encounter slower traffic, and the leaders are running up on some of the slower cars. On board with Bobby Rahal now, currently riding in the 7th position as Rahal constantly turning here. There's really very little opportunity to rest.
Well, you go from wide. You notice he's right out wide against the track. Now he'll come into number 1 turn, right down the bottom, out wide again. That's the reason, Paul, that it's so difficult to pass. Watch how the car goes back and forth. It doesn't give the guy behind much chance to get by.
Back at the front of the field again, Rick Mears out in front. His teammate Danny Sullivan in second place as he continues to try to hold off a charge by Mario Andretti. Then Fittipaldi and Al Unser Jr. So we're underway with 11 miles complete of the 200 here at Nazareth. We'll be back. Rick Mears, the bright yellow number 5, is the leader in the last 4 oval track races that Rick Mears has actually finished. He has won 3 of them. Rick Mears is out in front, still being chased by his teammate Danny Sullivan. And then riding in 3rd place is Mario Andretti. He is followed by Emerson Fittipaldi. There is Mario. Now, this, of course, is Mario Andretti's hometown. So it's a matter of prestige on the line here. It's very important that he do well as he comes down to challenge Danny Sullivan and closes in right behind. Mario Andretti, that bright white number 6, works his way around the track. Nazareth is important to Mario. It is, after all, entirely the Andretti family home.
We're a very close family, and I married a girl from this town, and she also was very close to her family. So we both just felt much more comfortable just by staying here, staying close to our folks, and it seems like with our kids now, they didn't feel like going anywhere either. They feel like, okay, we'll stay where Dad is, Mom is, and we'll expand on that. And as I said, it's I never found at any time that I've given up anything in my life, certainly by living here. In fact, to the contrary, I just, as I said, I've traveled the world as wide as it is and as long as it is, and for many years, and I've always enjoyed coming home here again.
And it is a beautiful home that Mario Andretti home to. Matter of fact, it's just across the street from the school that the kids went to. Michael Andretti has built his home just a couple of miles away, and in fact, from the back of Michael's home, he can see his father's house down in the valley a bit below. And Mario, like most race drivers, has expanded on the house just by adding rooms and little additions, with probably about the nicest recreation room you'd ever want to see, with a complete panorama of the start of a Grand Prix race. Now Mario Andretti runs in 3rd place, still chasing Danny Sullivan.
Mario, Paul, is in a good position in this race because although he has a chance at the championship, the only realistic chance he has is by winning this race outright. He won't feel bad about it if he crashes trying to do that. Whereas Danny Sullivan, who he's right behind here, needs to protect his championship situation. Mario can race loose and aggressive. Danny has to be watching out for everything.
You heard Mario's comments, though, that when he does finish, he finishes in the points, and he certainly hopes to keep that car alive today.
Well, he's a good oval track racer. He's been doing these circle tracks for a long time. Tremendous amount of experience. Now, as Sam alluded earlier, Danny Sullivan is really on a hot streak right now, but it's going to be tough to hold Mario off at a track like this.
Danny Sullivan running in second place. Michael Andretti now begins to pick up the pace. He has been lying back in sixth position, but now he appears to be on the move as well.
The story minute to minute is really going to depend on the driver's luck and daring in getting by the slower cars. Right there we saw Mario drop back significantly because he had to hesitate behind the car of Howdy Holmes. Howdy did not give Mario running room. Mario had to hesitate. He was wise to do it, and that's why Danny was able to open that gap.
A moment ago, the top of the order has remained the same, but Emerson Fittipaldi, who was running in fourth, began to drop back and, in fact, allowed both Michael Andretti and Al Unser Jr. to dart out and around him. So the question now becomes, was that just the hesitation of a moment, a car that blocked him on the track, or is there something wrong with Emerson Fittipaldi? We'll check that report for you. On board again with Bobby Rahal.
Of the top drivers, Paul, don't you feel Emerson is arguably the least experienced on this kind of track? You see Rahal going into what we're calling the third turn. It then becomes the fourth turn there.
And Emerson Fittipaldi, while we watch from Rahal's onboard camera, we suggested there might be a problem. Here is Emerson Fittipaldi, the 20 car, heading into Pat Patrick's pits for some quick service. The crew falls on the car. Let's go to the pits from Jackaroo.
Well, what has happened, Paul Page, is a small nut on one of the wings has come dislodged, so they came in to check that because they felt it may have been affecting the handling on the machine. But lo and behold, now you can see they're adjusting the front wing. They did not make any changes there. They checked all four tires. So he's back out, but that's a costly early stop.
Well, when this track is as small as it is, it took over a mile around. The car is getting around at incredible pace. When you come into the pits under the green like that, especially as an unscheduled stop for a repair, then you fall behind very rapidly.
Emerson was stopped for just over 18 seconds, but the effect was that he lost more than one lap out on the racetrack.
Emerson Fittipaldi fell all the way back through the field to 15th during that stop.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. It won't make an awful lot of difference right now, Paul, if everybody else stops under the green. But if they have a yellow pretty soon, Emil's in serious trouble today.
Now, the Fittipaldi car, we'll probably see it again here in a few moments. The Fittipaldi car is running a new wing. They're trying to buy wing. In other words, two elements of the wing on the back of his car, hoping to get better downforce. And so they'll be watching that situation as well. Back with the leader, Rick Mears, car number 5. Out in front of the field now by a full 7.5 seconds over his teammate Danny Sullivan.
The green car that he is trying to lap, that Mears is trying to lap, is the much talked about Porsche with Theo Fabi driving it. Porsche, of course, is having a disappointing season, not as good as they hoped for. The famous German manufacturer, I think it was thought in Europe, would just dominate this scene. They have not been able to do that, but they're going to be back next year with much emphasis on this program and high hopes.
Sam, I don't really think that Fabi is going so slow right now. I think what it is Rick Mears is setting a blistering pace. He's even pulling away from Danny Sullivan right now. It seems to be an awful, awful rapid pace so early in the race.
So we look again at Emerson Fittipaldi now riding just in front of the second place car of Danny Sullivan. But Fittipaldi is 2 laps back now, running in 15th place. So his interest in the championship fight, the points that he desperately needs at the moment, he's not anywhere near doing well.
Well, and of course, Danny now sees ahead of him. Here comes Bobby Rahal into the pits. This has to be unscheduled too, Paul.
Yes, far too early for Bobby Rahal to come into the pits, so we'll watch carefully as he makes the stop and the crew falls on the car, already up on the jacks. One of the cart officials steps over the wall to make sure that everything is being done safe. That's a rather leisurely stop, actually, though it's 4 tires, and they go to work on the front wing, so handling concerns there as Jim Prescott, now the crew chief, motions that car out, and they've stalled the car. Now, if they've been bright, then they've already put the inertial starter over the wall and had it ready to go. Let's go to the pits.
Well, they've just restarted Bobby Rahal's car after that pit stop. And again, Paul Page, here is what is developing down on pit road, and this could really play havoc with all the front runners. 3 cars of the front runners have already been on pit road. We talked about Emerson Fittipaldi. Well, in between that and Bobby Rahal, Derek Daly came in. All 3 have blistered the right front tire. And I mean blistered it to the point that it had to come off. They couldn't wait for a caution. this is going to create some severe tire problems for all the front runners. Let's go back to you.
Well, it certainly did for Bobby Rahal, a 30-second stop. Bobby, when we talk about blistering the tire.
Well, that means the tire's slipping too much on the pavement, and probably what it's meant today is they had the car set really good yesterday, but they've had some other races previously. They lay down a little bit of rubber, and sometimes the rubber off the Indy cars doesn't match that. They slip a little bit until they get the track off where it's good again. Plus, you must remember, it rained all last night. So they're just have excessive speed. Remember we said a while ago that Rick was setting a blistering pace.
Now we take a look at a battle for third place developing as Mario Andretti, the number 6 car, is being challenged by Al Unser Jr. And Little Al comes up, gets around him, and Little Al drops into third place. Again, here is manifest, that championship fight.
It's probably way too early to say this, and I don't want to bring bad luck on anybody, but there's great care being demonstrated by many of the back markers so far in this race. I think everybody, and we're seeing Michael Andretti now come into the pits, everybody is fully aware of the risks involved at these very high speeds here.
Dan, it looks like Mario is slowing down a little bit. I would guess that he's probably
Michael
having
Andretti
tire problems also.
Bobby, what can they do as we watch Michael Andretti complete his stop? What kind of changes can they make to stop that problem?
They're all adjusting their wings, Paul. They'll just give the front end a little bit more traction, probably alleviate the problem. Plus, they'll wear out the rubber that's already on the track.
So out in front of the field, it is Rick Mears as he closes down behind the 5th place car of Raul Boisel. So Rick Mears is slicing through this field just as fast as he can. Sullivan is 2nd, Al Unser Jr. is 3rd, Mario is 4th. We'll be back. Pennsylvania International Speedway, the Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix as Mario Andretti continues to battle with Al Unser Jr. It is a fight for 3rd place. Both of them desperately need any points that they can get. That 11 car is the Kanapensky entry of Kevin Cogan, who is running well back in the field but still managing to pace with the leaders. Saturday, ABC's college football features a Pac-10 battle. The number 2 ranked UCLA Bruins take on the Washington Huskies. Or it's a Big Ten matchup when Michigan State hosts the Iowa Hawkeyes. Check the local listings for the game in your area. Action will begin live at 3:30 Eastern next Saturday, right here on ABC Sports.
Well, Paul, they're just still going the blistering pace. Rick Mears is running laps at 167 miles an hour, including a little bit of traffic. And he's just causing the rest of the guys to run the tires too hard. But I'm looking really hard to see if Rick's tire is going to let go in the front before he gets in the first pit stop.
If blistering tires are indeed a problem, which certainly they are, then how will the Penske team, how did they decide that it was a situation that they've obviously already dealt with?
Probably from the experience of Rick Mears himself. Rick is one of the finest oval track development drivers that there is here today, and I think Rick's just capable of setting his car a little bit better than the other guys.
Well, now down